Hey everybody, Fred Minnick here. I've got this Watershed barrel strength 6-year bourbon out of Ohio, finished in apple brandy cask, or apple brandy barrels, as it says on here. This is batch 3. Now, I reviewed this, I think, batch 1 last year, maybe. So, this is batch 3. Now, this is apple brandy is famous in an area of France called Calvados, and it actually had a real nice run in American history. And apple brandy was once very common. We had all these different species of apples, but they no longer are around. We basically have a couple different species of apples, and you see them in the grocery stores. And there's an effort to bring a lot of those back. There's a fascinating history behind apple brandy and the apples connected to them. And anytime I see apple brandy on a bottle, and by the way, Spirits of French Lake is making apple brandy. Laird's is famous for their Applejack, but there's all kinds of apple brandy out there in the market. You don't have to look that far. And probably my favorite apple brandy that I've had in the last couple years and from America is from Huber's. So you don't have to look very hard. There's a lot of great stuff out there. So you might start seeing a lot more apple brandy barrels on the market, because I do think that they really complement one another, apple brandy barrels and bourbon. So this is the Ohio 126.1 proof. Ooh. Smells kind of woody. You know me, when I smell that wood note, I don't like it. But there's a nice note of cinnamon after that, so it's not all wood. First of all, that feels every bit of 126.1 proof. Yowza. Wow. I was not ready for that. I taste a lot of high proof products, but sometimes one just comes up and bam, right there on you. Try that again. Well, my palate's a little bit more acclimated to it now. But it is true, if your palate is not ready for something, it will, it'll react badly. But it got acclimated to it and tasted fine. So, this is not a release for everybody. All right, so this is a release for people who like Dusties, for people who like a particular note found in some bourbons that's got it's like a little bit of like dirt. It's not a bad note, but like you have like dirt like on a mushroom, or like an overcooked charred marshmallow. I want you to imagine like overcooking or over baking some apples. All right, there's a charredness to it. It's kind of cooked out. A lot of the sugars, you get more of the fleshiness of it. You taste that a little bit more. The apple is less flavorful, but you can still taste something there. And imagine that kind of apple core being a part of that. Like the apple core is like been cooked all the way down, and you can taste like the earthiness of the seed. That is what this tastes like. It tastes like dirt, an overcooked, an overcharred marshmallow, and an overcooked, baked apple. After that, let me go. There's like this fig note to it, which kind of is more of on the earthier side of fruits. Some sweetness to it, but you get like that crunch of the seed, and you can taste some of that like earth to it. This is a bourbon for people who are exploratory, right? People who want to taste outside of the box, to people who want to push their palate to understand it. I like this. I like how it's different. The way that I described it may get people to think, oh, well, Fred didn't like it. It says it tastes like dirt. Well, I'll have you know, when I was an 8-year-old boy in Jones, Oklahoma, I ate dirt, and I'm proud of it. Now, granted, somebody was pushing my head in the ground, and I was being forced to eat dirt, but I got up, and I swallowed, and then I punched the other kid in the face. Not that I'm encouraging you to go, you know what, I don't need to do that. But my whole point is that people will hear my tasting notes and assume, because I give a set of reasons that they don't agree with, like, oh, I wouldn't like that. They think that I wouldn't like that. I'm telling you right now, I would get in the mood for this particular one. Like, it's a particular mood, but if I'm in the mood for like a dusty pour or something like that, I think this would be great with it. I also think that this is a good bourbon to finished bourbon finished in apple cask, a good bourbon to understand your palate, to see how earth tastes, because there's not going to be many people who taste this and find anything but earth and a lot of that like cooked apple or that over smoked or overcharred marshmallow. So those are things that I find interesting, and I think you should try for yourself. But this is for a very subset of bourbon drinkers. It is, but that's the subset of bourbon drinkers who want to explore, want to learn, don't want to just taste the same old, and they want to push their palates. So if that's you, then you must go buy this. If you are a same old, you want Blanton's or Makers or Woodford, nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But this probably is not for you. It probably will disappoint. But that's going to do it for this here little old tasting episode. Thank you so much for joining. If you'd be so kind, click the like button, hit subscribe, and tell a friend. I'm just trying to preach the gospel of bourbon. Be safe out there, and remember, vodka sucks.